So between the Pat Riley press conference and Jimmy Butler, the efficient player he is, flirting with Cam Brink and the Lakers at the same time, there's a lot of speculation going on about the Miami Heat. Would you actually trade Jimmy Butler? Now, at first glance, it kind of makes sense. Jimmy Butler's getting older. He wants an extension. Bam's still very young. We could build around Bam going forward. It makes a little bit of sense. And then you take a step back and realize how good you have already been with pretty much just Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo as your star players. Tyler Hero was supposed to be that third guy, and he's not that third guy. And even more importantly, he's often injured. So you have an opportunity here to put a real third star next to Jimmy Butler and Bam. And I feel like you have to actually try that before trading Jimmy Butler. Now, the Heat have tried it, right? They were trying to get Bradley Beal. They were trying to get Damian Lillard. They were trying to get Drew Holiday even. Some people feel like this team needs someone better than Jimmy Butler to win. I don't feel like that at all. I feel like in today's NBA, Jimmy Butler can be your best player. And while it seems like the Heat have been extremely focused on trying to add help in the backcourt, I actually feel like it's the front court where they need help. They need help because, one, they're small in the front court, but also there's no spacing with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. And as great as they've been together, it's funny because they actually get in each other's way a little bit. It's weird how they've made it work. Shout out to Eric Spoelstra. And I already know this trade will never happen, for a variety of reasons. But Karl-Anthony Towns on this team would be amazing. I know it's not going to happen, but Jimmy Butler, Cat, and Bam in the front court, the versatility defensively, Cat providing some spacing in there, Cat providing some secondary playmaking, that would be an amazing deal. I don't think Jimmy Butler would welcome it, but that would make them a championship contender in my opinion. Provided Cat is actually available, and that's only on my mind because I just made a video talking about why the Timberwolves shouldn't trade Cat. But when I got to a point where I'm asking myself what team could trade for Cat and be a championship contender instantly, the Miami Heat might be that team. If all it really took was Tyler Hero, Nikola Jovic, who I know you guys probably love, but Nikola Jovic in a first round pick, I feel like that championship team right there. That's just my opinion though. You guys let me know if you disagree. But while I believe Cat would be the best fit for the spacing reasons, for the defensive reasons, going against, Giannis, going against Embiid, even going against Tatum, going against Jokic if you make the finals, I feel like, I like Cat. I think he's very underrated, but it is what it is. I understand why people don't like him. But if he is available, he's probably going to be available for relatively cheap. I don't think the market's going to be crazy. Same thing with other players. There's a lot of distressed assets right now that the Miami Heat should be jumping on. Mikal Bridges, not really a front court player, but kind of a front court player. Can kind of defend fours, not really, but you understand. Another player that can slot in between Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo and provide spacing for them and provide defense for them. Brandon Ingram, another one, even though I'm not too fond on that fit, but I guess if Tyler Hero's out, they do need another on-ball creator. But, Mikal and Cat to me are much more seamless fits into what they already have built there. And if you want to get real crazy, what about Trey Young? To me, the Miami Heat are like the perfect team to trade for Trey Young, not because it's the perfect fit, but because I feel like a lot of teams are going to be swayed away from Trey Young because trading for Trey Young is trading for someone that, how do I put it? Someone that believes that it's all about them. And I don't say that as a bad thing. Trey Young, we don't talk about it enough, like his numbers. And I know it's a lot more than numbers, but the dude is on pace to finish top 10 in scoring and assist. Like, long way to go, obviously, but his numbers are kind of ridiculous, right? So if you're trading for Trey Young, in most situations, he's going to come in and assume that it's his team. And that's not a bad thing. But if he goes to Miami and you have that structure and you have that built-in, quote-unquote, Heat culture, I feel like they're the perfect team to get the best version of Trey Young, cut out a lot of the fat in his game, get him focused on winning basketball and not all the extra just freelancing stuff he's able to do in Atlanta, because Atlanta is his. And a lot of stars that have early success like Trey Young did go through that, so I'm not trying to make it a personal attack on Trey Young. I just feel like he needs to go somewhere more serious. Even if he goes to San Antonio, it's a serious organization, but even though it's clearly gonna be Wemby's team, right? Trey Young's gonna know it's Wemby's team, but it's gonna be me and Wemby. He's gonna feel like he could do pretty much whatever. If he goes to play with Zion, it's gonna be him and Zion. If he goes to Miami, it's Pat Riley, it's Spoelstra, it's Bam Adebayo. We're serious. We do things a certain way here, and I feel like that type of structure would be very good for Trey Young. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that's why if I'm Miami, I might be interested in Trey Young. I might feel like we can get the best out of Trey Young. And whenever you bring up Trey Young as a trade target, you have to bring up DeJounte Murray. If I'm the Heat, I'm not all that interested in DeJounte Murray unless I'm getting him straight up for Tyler Hero. But if I have to include first or, one of my young players for DeJounte, I'm not really that interested in doing that. But overall, Miami, there's too much talent out there right now for you guys to just give up. Looking at this Eastern Conference, looking at Milwaukee's supposed to be this juggernaut. They don't look all that scary. The Knicks, great story, great run. But if I'm Miami, am I really that, afraid of OG Anunoby and DiVincenzo and Josh Hart? Great team. I'm not saying it's fluky. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying if I'm Miami and I feel like I can upgrade my roster this summer, the Knicks aren't going to scare me. The 76ers, sure, they can make big moves this year, but Joel Embiid, is he going to be even available when it comes time to play them? Really, it's, you got the Magic, you got Cleveland. Who knows, maybe the Magic make a crazy leap next year, but if I'm Miami, why am I scared of the Magic? The only team I'm supposed to be scared of is Boston, and we know Miami's not scared of Boston. So if you feel like you can add one of these players, if you can add Mikal Bridges or Brandon Ingram or Cat or Trey Young or Lauri Markkanen, why would you not do it? And all of those guys might be available. We don't know if Cat's available, but we think he might be. Lauri Markkanen, probably not, but who knows? Pat Riley's not trying to go through some extended rebuild here. I just don't see why you wouldn't bring this team back together if you can add on it, right? If you can't add on it, if all of these players that are available, you can't get one of them for a good deal, maybe that's something about your front office. Like they can get one of these players for a good deal. In the Eastern Conference, I just feel like it is worth the risk. If they were in the West, I'd say pack it up. Because even if they got one of these players, even if they got a Mikal Bridges, I'm not sure they're better than OKC. I'm not sure they're better than Minnesota. Not sure they're better than Dallas. Not sure they're better than Denver. Not sure they are better than Memphis. And it's a bigger deal in the West because maybe the Heat could beat these teams in a playoff setting. But you got to get there in the West. So, I'm not sure it would be a smart investment if they were in the Western Conference. But in the East, where if you look at the win totals, it might not look as bad as it actually was. But the Heat were the 8th seed already this year. So it would be a risky proposition if they were in the West. But in the East, I feel like you kind of owe it to this team to go and try to get them some actual help. It's been Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo with Caleb Martin, heating up, or Duncan Robinson heating up, or Gabe Vincent heating up, Max Strus heating up. They haven't really had a consistent third option because either Tyler Hero hasn't been that or he's been injured. So if they go out there and really get a third option or a second option, whatever you want to look at it, a third star, there's no reason this team can't be in the conference finals again, if not the finals again next year. And if they don't, you kind of got to live with it. Now, maybe you trade Nikola Jovic in a deal and you look stupid, 5-6 years from now. That's very possible, but that's part of the game. And you're at this point, at this stage with this team, and you haven't even really given them a chance. You haven't. There's been no, I actually was against the trade for Terry Rozier. That was supposed to be their big offensive acquisition. Get Erik Spoelstra a real weapon in this lineup besides Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. If you don't owe it to the team in particular, you kind of owe it to Erik Spoelstra to get him some real weapons to work with. But that's just my opinion. Would you trade Jimmy Butler? And if not, who would you like to see the Miami Heat actually go out there and try to get? Let me know all that down in the comments below. Please drop a like. Please subscribe. I am out. Peace.